I'm Ashton Addison from EventChain for Investmentpitch Media and Crypto Coin Show. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Huy Nguyen, the CTO and co-founder of KardiaChain. Huy, welcome to the show, and it's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you very much, Ashton. It's nice to be here.
Likewise, I'd love to kick off our discussion, Huy, with just hearing a little bit of your background in the blockchain space and how that led to you starting KardiaChain.
Right. Yeah. So thank you. So before Cardia, I'm a tech lead manager at Google for about 10 years. And it was at Google that I first learned about, blockchain technologies in general. So I was a lead in one of the decentralization project where you do the consensus for bidding of the LTE and the frequency for the government, right? So that is where blockchain and the whole decentralization idea comes, and I embrace it. It's actually long times ago, even before the Bitcoin surge in 2017. And that is then that I figure blockchain can be a game changer. And I really like to involve more and get to know more about that technology in general. The times come. 3 years ago, about 2018, we figured the problems of interoperabilities in blockchain space, and we came up with the KardiaChain idea.
Very cool. And that's interesting that you worked at Google. When I was in Vietnam for blockchain, there was a huge Google developer team, and it seemed one of the most prominent areas out of all of the countries that I've spoken in. So that's really interesting. And now you've been working on KardiaChain for, as you mentioned, like 3 years now, and it's finally launching the main launch, which is exciting. Can you start by just giving a brief overview of the goals of the Kardia blockchain, the overview of the ecosystem?
Right. So it took 3 years. This is a long time. So when we started, the whole idea was very tech oriented. We tried to build something that is spectacular, that can connect all the blockchains together. So we have the first prototype where we can do the DEX of Ethereum, Neo, and Trons, like late 2018. It was even before EOS or Cosmos come up with the mainnet, right? I was super exciting. But then we figure that in order to bring blockchain to real use case, we need more than that. We need a real mass adoption. And that was why late 2018, we came back to Vietnam through some of the programs that the government created. And we saw a huge potential over here, where there is no legacy infrastructure. There is a golden age generations, right? And people here just embrace any new thing. So our team decided to move from London and Silicon Valley back to Vietnam in 2019. And we sort of rebrand our strategy a little bit to target more on the mass adoptions and starting in Vietnam and Southeast Asia. So our slogan right now is accessible blockchain for the millions. And that is what we are trying to target. We have a clear goal and a pretty how to put it, a different way of doing it, because we can work with the governments and enterprise over here in Vietnam. We try to have them blockchainize their solution. So whatever existing service that they have, we offer the blockchain technologies in the background. We try to separate the concept of cryptocurrency out of blockchain necessarily. So we believe that in 5 years, blockchain will be everywhere, similar to how AI and machine learning is, revamping the industry right now. You probably don't feel it, but it is somewhere, right? Like you do email, you do Google search, you probably don't know that AI is running over the places. So blockchain will be like that. And we try to build a blockchain infrastructure that can serve that very purposes. And at some point, you will see all the Vietnamese people using our KardiaChain one way or another.
That's great, Huy. And you mentioned you have a very unique way of doing things, and you have some interesting partnerships, as you mentioned, with the government and different corporations. So that's definitely a unique selling point. Would you say that there's one specific thing or some specific section of what makes KardiaChain the most unique in terms of the technology in the blockchain space?
Right. So technologies wise, our dual node technologies is considered a very unique selling point. Is a first non-invasive interoperabilities technologies to let different blockchain communicate with each other without changing their infrastructures. Right. So we demo that by showing Neo team and Tron's team that we non-invasively join their system and bring their data to another blockchain and cross it completely through our smart contract way. The Neo team was pretty impressed about that. And we have a partnership with them soon after. So we can continue bringing in more blockchain into our ecosystem. So that technology is very cool on the public space. But actually, it brings a lot more value when you think about private blockchain. Like governments or enterprise, they all want to have their own blockchains, right? Because they don't want to share everything to the public. But there will be a certain point in time where they would need to cross each other and share the data. For example, if you're one university, you want to share the score with, like employer, right? How you would best do it without exposing unnecessary data. So we applying the dual node concept across the border of public and private, so they can go through Kardia and share what they want to share, and Kardia would be the decentralized entities to verify those records for them. So that was a pretty strong selling point to most of the enterprise and government that we have in Vietnam. We strike some pretty good partnership deal with LG CNS, for example, because they're trying to they have a Mona chain and they want to do something similar for the smart city concepts where everybody share with everybody, right? Then we have multiple contracts with the government in general, telco company, education services, even the Viet football federations. The Vietnamese people really love football, and also some of the biggest enterprise in Vietnam, like Lesimco or Sovico, that sort of thing.
Very interesting, and that's great to have all those partnerships. Upon the launch of the mainnet, you already have really solid partnerships. Now, this has been a long time in the coming. As you said, 3 years working on KardiaChain test nets and figuring out all the kinks and going through challenges. And now the mainnet has just launched today, so congratulations on that. This is quite the time.
Thank you.
What does this mean for KardiaChain now, and just for the blockchain industry now that you've launched the mainnet?
So the mainnet is a significant event for our journey. It's even bigger than got listing or got investing or any of such thing, because it means a real journey has begun, right? It's really a new chapter in our company history. So now everybody could see it publicly, how much Kardia could be used and empower the people. So today, mainnet was more like a small version, a small test crowd with only hundreds of people who do the early token swap that can come in and start playing and staking and delegating and see how the whole system works. In about a month or so, we're going to open the token bridge swap, and then you're going to see a vast majority of Kai holder will come on board and start to see it applied to the mass adoption. So we already have a Kai membership app, which is an app we use mainly in Vietnam for Kai holder in Vietnam. And we have, up to today, I think we have almost 150,000 account already.
Wow.
And our goal is to reach 1 million user by middle of the year. Of course, like Vietnamese people, they don't hold so much Kai. They probably hold like 10, hundreds of Kai only. But I think mass adoption start here. Start with small, and then eventually when people see the useful things that we can bring for them, then they will start using it more. So the mainnet today is really, really spectacular. We want to monitor the situation and see how things go. So far, it has been good in general, and we truly hope that it is a new beginning.
That's great to hear. And that's amazing to hear that you already have 150,000 users on the membership application. And I wanted to talk about the steps moving forward for KardiaChain, having that, you mentioned accessibility and interoperability, and I think those are going to be two major factors that are going to help grow KardiaChain network. But to have a solid network with a lot of users that are actively using the network, you need to have more applications and dApps and deploying smart contracts, people actually using the network. I'm guessing, you guys are focused on some kind of strategy to have more development inside of the application, incentivize developers to create applications, whether they're moving from other blockchains to develop on KardiaChain, or people that have other programming languages to start developing. Are you incentivizing developers, or how are you going to help grow the actual decentralized application ecosystem?
Right. So we approach it with three fronts. The first one is we already have real application use in our private blockchain solution that we offer to enterprise. So, for example, if they want to use it to track certain things, right, or they want to use a supply chain, some of the partner already have KardiaChain running in their private network and have their app developed already. Those could be considered as one type of developer and decentralized app that we already have. It's just in the private blockchain, but we can find a way to cross it and make it into the public. That is one thing. Second way is Kardia is actually using the EVM compatible, so we're using Solidity for our main chain smart contract. So a lot of Ethereum developers and decentralized app can just come natively to KardiaChain and start using us. So we are supporting more than 6,000 TPS and 5-second confirmation time, actually 3 to 5, and 10,000 times cheaper than Ethereum. So there is a lot of reason why people can build something on us. We did that for the sake of the Vietnamese people, because we don't have $10 for each Ethereum transaction. So we make it cheaper, right, at the cost of the network, but it's fine. The third thing is, of course, we're gonna have to hold a certain price competition and that kinds of thing to attract the newcomers to come and develop on KardiaChain. In about 3 months, we'll open the cross-chain, the dual node services. So then you can actually write the smart contract to cross from one blockchain to another, right? And I think that will be a very important unique selling point, that developer can start writing apps that they cannot do before. For example, if you have a CryptoKitties on Ethereum, you could now exchange for a CryptoKitties on Neo, right? At the same time through KardiaChain. But of course, that is no simple thing. We need to make it SDK and API very friendly for developer to utilize it completely. So right now they can do it, but it's a little more hacky way that very hardcore developer can do. But we need to make a language that we call KSML, like a markup language for Kardia, so people can use it easier.
Definitely. And that was interesting. You mentioned the scalability is already, seems like it could be potentially ready for some major decentralized applications that have thousands of users on them all doing transactions. So sounds like your team is ready to roll when you have more applications as the ecosystem continues to grow. Now, we're running short on time, Huy, but I want to talk about 2021 for KardiaChain. Can you talk about what are the next steps to getting to the major part of the mainnet? Are there dates around that? And are there any other major milestones that you're looking to hit in 2021?
Sure. So so we plan to have 3 important upgrades for the mainnet coming 2021. So we start with the very clear goal that by the end of the year, we should have 1 million users on Kardia, right? So from there, we break down into the 3 major milestones. So soon after the mainnet launch, like I say, in about a month, probably 2 months maximum, we're gonna open the gate for everybody to come on board. So it's gonna be a complete token swap from ERC20 to the native token. That would mean multiple things. That would mean the network needs to be stable. It would mean all of the support for wallet or exchange needs to be done. and also all of the technical standard like the token listing, NFT, DeFi need to be ready, so we can take in everyone. That's one thing. Second, come middle of the year, we'll complete the whole cross-chain technologies with a markup language sort of ready, so people can start writing smart contract cross-chain. That would create a new kinds of apps that people have been trying to do for long. And then that could also help with the private blockchain team to start exposing the app to the public. And come to the end of the year, we plan to completely open the gate for the private sector to start joining our public chain, like cross them completely. So then all of the solution we build today for the government and the enterprise can come to light. And that is where I believe the true hybrid blockchain solution for enterprise and government could come to place.
Wow, that's very ambitious, and I definitely see interoperability and as a key theme, not just between blockchains, but between private and public blockchains as well. So all the best on that, Huy. Now, if the viewers are looking to follow along, get involved, develop, start using KardiaChain, what's the best way for them to join the community and to learn more?
Right, they can. So we were welcoming all of the new, investor, developers, or just curious about the project to join our communities. You can check us out at KardiaChain.io, or you can join our Twitter at KardiaChain, or join Telegram at KardiaChain Officials. We have a good ambassador program team where they'll onboard you.
Sounds great, Huy. I will leave those links in the description box below. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. All the best on the mainnet launch for Kardia and throughout 2021. And let's follow up in the near future.
Thank you very much, Ashton. It has been a pleasure talking to you. And thank you for the community as well.